Hello. So while talking tech, you've got all the different tech devices out there, all the cool toys, Google, Amazon, Apple, whatever it may be. But I find myself shooting myself in the foot a little bit when it comes to accessories for these items because I'm a little bit of a snob. And if it's not made by the company directly, I just have some sort of mental block where I can't stand behind them and use them. And I feel that kind of hinders me a lot because I'm such a snob that there's so many cool things out there that I'm probably not using them. Well, today we're talking about some accessories that I can stand behind. They're made by Wasserstein, and they're made officially for Google, and specifically we're talking about the Google Nest cameras, the new indoor-outdoor battery camera and the battery doorbell. So these products here are officially made for those products, and so I think I can stand behind these, and we're going to talk about them. Let's get started. What up, everybody? It's George Langabeer with SilverHammer Surveillance. Here on the channel, we talk tech and we talk security. Today, we're talking tech and we're talking tech accessories. We're talking accessories specifically made for the Google Nest cameras, both the camera and the doorbell. We're talking accessories made by Wasserstein, and there's some various items here. Some of them they sent to me, and some of them I bought on my own. The ones they sent to me, they're trying. This is gonna be my honest feedback on the accessories. So they were just cool enough to send them. But anyway, so we've got various items. We got a few for the camera and we got a few for the doorbell. We've got a double charger for the indoor-outdoor Nest cam. We've got a PoE adapter, which we'll talk about more as we open it and kind of talk about that a little bit more. And then we've got this lockable base. A lot of complaints about the new Nest cameras being this magnet mount where you can just kind of easily steal it. Well, that base will kind of solve that problem. We're going to talk about that, and I'll show it to you in action on our camera outside. And then for the doorbell, we've got this power supply. So basically, if you don't have, there is the battery option, which is very cool, but some people just don't want to worry about charging that battery. So let's say you're on a business or a house with no doorbell wiring. That's where the battery comes in handy. This power supply also comes in handy because if you don't want to charge the battery and you have an outlet that works, and I'll kind of show this to you in action as well, you can power that camera and not have to worry about the battery or having doorbell wiring. And then we've got a few wall plates. So this is good. This is just a wall plate that kind of, let's say you had an old doorbell or maybe a weird intercom or something that left a hole behind your doorbell. This plate kind of gives you more surface area to mount the camera on and cover, maybe some blemishes or whatever you have behind the existing doorbell. And then you've got some adjustable wall mounts that both vertical and horizontal to give you different angles of the Nest battery camera on the doorbell. Okay, so we're going to go through each one. We're going to open it up, and then I'm going to kind of talk about each one. All right, so let's talk about this charger. Let's open it up and see what we got inside. Teresa, how I love to use the knife.
Yes.
What is it about YouTubers and their knife?
Yeah, any box that gives you that opportunity seems to bring you joy.
It does. It really does. Okay, so we've got some documentation in this one, and then we've got the charging cable and the charging brick. Now, I'm not going to actually plug this in because it's pretty self-explanatory what this does, but it's a pretty well-made product. It feels nice and hefty. And again, Wasserstein makes these officially for Google. If you go to the Google store, you'll actually see their products. And again, me being the weird snob that I am and weird brands and things like that, I can stand behind this because I find that as long as it's on the website, I can deal with it. So again, if you go to any accessories for these, they're pretty much made by Wasserstein, which is cool. But anyway, so you got the special connector for these Nest cameras. These are very proprietary for that camera, and basically they just sit on there. So if you plug this in, there you go. So instead of getting your charging cables, you have this on a nice piece of furniture or whatever. They look pretty sweet in there, or you put them in your garage or whatever it is. You got USB and USB-C. And so the USB-C is how this connects, and then you just plug this into the brick, which is good old-fashioned USB.
I think part of your snobbery is because when you intermix brands, that bothers you.
It does bother me.
But those stylings of the Wasserstein look very Nest-like.
They do.
The styling looks
I
like
100%
it fits
agree.
right with it.
And then they do make accessories for other products like Arlo and Blink. So when they do make a product, it's very custom to the product they're talking about. But again, you know, even on the box, you've got made for Google Nest on there, which is how I can get over my mental block. And so here on the channel, hopefully I can get over that mental block and start discussing more items. But for now, we're going to let Wasserstein ease me into it.
Baby steps.
Baby steps. Baby steps. Okay, so that's the charger again. I'm not going to plug it in because it's pretty self-explanatory, but holds them in there nice and firmly. So they're nice and protective. Got your indicator lights there. So that's cool. And again, just regular USB to USB-C. Plug it in the wall. Bam, you're done. All right, so we've cleaned up some of our mess. But yeah, if you're interested in this product, just go ahead and check out the link in the description below. It's $39.99. But you know, if you talk about the charging cables and the bricks and whatever, that's not a bad price for how well made that device is. Okay, so moving on, let's talk about the PoE adapter. This is $29.99. Again, check in the link in the description below if you're interested in this item. All right, so what the heck is this thing, people will ask. All right, so let's say that you've got a home where you ran some Cat5 cables all over the place. Let's say you had an IP camera system, or you just have cables ran, you know, a new build or whatever it was, or you were smart enough to run Cat5, Cat6, whatever it is, through your home. But in my application, I think of it as like our customers that have an IP camera system. They are ran with Cat5 cables. This would be a great solution for that. So if you want to replace your other, let's say, NVR system with a Nest camera, and you've got those cables already, you can use this PoE adapter to basically constantly power this guy right here. So, you know, instead of, because this is a battery option, you can plug it in if you can find an outlet, but this is another option as far as giving it power. So you've got that Cat5, basically you're going back to a PoE switch. For those of you that know what that is, it's a switch that a lot of devices are powered off of, or you use for your network to give different things internet. Well, some of those switches have PoE, which means power over Ethernet, and that's supplying camera or power to whatever device it's hooked up to. Well, if you've got one of those cables going back to a switch, you can use this in the middle, and basically you can give this camera constant power, so you don't have to worry about the battery. Then it's got the good old connector, proprietary for this camera, and then you hook this up to your Cat5 cable, and bam, you got power. So again, in my application, I think of my customers with those IP cameras that already have Cat5 cable ran. And so this is a great solution. So this is kind of the most out-of-the-box accessory that I've seen for these types of cameras. You just don't think about that a lot. I think it's brilliant that they did. So this is very cool, and can be used in a lot of different ways. Again, $29.99 for this one. And check in the link in the description below if you're interested. Okay, so now that we've cleaned up another mess, one thing I do want to mention about this guy, this PoE adapter, it is a weatherproof design. So, you know, some of these cables are weatherproof, some of them aren't. You know, if you want to get the weatherproof cable, or if you want to power that Nest camera normally, you got to get the weatherproof cable from Google. Well, anyway, this PoE adapter is weatherproof. All right, so moving on, this one we're going to actually go outside and kind of show you how this works, because we do have this on a camera outside. But just to briefly talk about it for a second, this is their anti-theft mount. And so one of the biggest concerns with these cameras when they came out, again, was how easy they are to steal. By the way, if it is stolen, Nest will replace it, so they know it could be a concern. Anyway, so it's part of their product structure, but which is interesting, but whatever. It's a very good magnet mount, but bam, I just stole your camera. So anyway, this kind of solves that problem. It's $14.99, and again, check in the link in the description below. But basically, this locks the camera to its base. And again, here in a second, we're going to go outside and show it to you. But basically, if you unbox it, you've got your little tether, and you've got the little security wrench to secure it, and then 2 screws, which is how it secures to the base. And then plastic in design, but it's really kind of a hard plastic, and it feels really well made as far as plastic goes. This again is secured with the screw, and we'll go outside and kind of show this to you. Okay, so here we are outside. we're talking about that anti-theft mount. Kind of see here this tether. You can see how it looks. Got a little cover for a little bit of the weather. Again, these are weatherproof cameras, but anyway, and then you've got that tether. So really this one's just about the aesthetics of it. I mean, most of the time on a soffit or an eave, you're not even going to really notice this, but it's much better than having somebody steal your camera. So anyway, you've got your normal mount here, and basically the screw that goes into the wall, that tether just mounts to that, and so that's how it's kind of attached. And so especially if you're going into drywall or something, that's going to be, or the surface of your home, it's going to be pretty sturdy. And then that's what that screw, the security screw with the wrench that comes with it, just locks it in there. And then you've got a nice secure base. And then it's got a hole there for your power cable. And yeah, so that's it. So that's kind of a different, any thief that really wants to get your camera is going to get your camera. Again, you want to follow my guidelines of at least making the thief have a 6-foot ladder. Here it's a little different because we're at my shop and these things are on display. I bring customers out here all the time. But you want to make somebody have at least a 6-foot ladder to have to get you your camera. But this is just an added layer of security, and just makes it a little more hard for them to steal it. All right, let's go back inside. Okay, we're back inside, and again on that anti-theft mount, it's $14.99. Check in the link in the description below if you're interested. Moving on to the battery doorbell accessories. First up, we got this power supply, and basically, before this doorbell, you have the Nest Hello, which is now called the Nest Wired, and that needed doorbell wiring to work. It didn't have the battery option. So then this doorbell came out, and now they've added the battery, which is why this Momo is so huge. But anyway, so you can power this normally with doorbell wiring, or you can have the battery. Now, this little guy here, $16.99, and what it allows you to do is if you have an outlet near your door or wherever you put this thing, you can plug this into a regular power outlet, and it'll supply the doorbell constant power. So we do this a lot. Now in our professional installations, we have a electrician that helps us often. Shout out to Crown Enterprises here in Omaha, Nebraska. Amazing company. If you're local and you need an electrician, Crown Enterprises. Anyway, so sometimes he'll get us custom outlets, or there's outlets nearby where you can drill in. The trick is, and we're kind of going to show this to you here in the showroom, how we've got this set up on our display unit, but the trick is to hide this wire. But if you got it in a location where, maybe there's a closet on the other side of the wall, or somewhere where you can hide this wire pretty easily, or there are some people, trust me, in homes every day, it gets kind of crazy, but people don't care about wires, but I do. But anyway, you got to hide this wire somehow. So you got your little terminals here, goes on the back, and all you do is hook it up to your little terminals and plug it in. And so, when you set this up, you got to have power, so you plug it in with your USB-C adapter, so you set it up, and then once you set it up, instead of using doorbell wiring, you're just putting that on the terminals and plugging it in, and bam, constant power. You never have to worry about charging the battery. So again, $16.99, and we'll head over there and show you how it works kind of in action. Okay, so this isn't a completely real life application. Obviously, we're not outside, but this is my display doorbell. And actually, it's a perfect example of how this power adapter can work perfectly for different applications, because I don't have doorbell wiring here in the middle of my showroom. This is my Nest display. But it allowed me to put this doorbell in operation. So when customers come in here and check out my showroom, I can show them this Nest Hello in action. Now, and as far as that goes, this power adapter does work for pretty much any video doorbell out there. They made it for the Nest battery camera, but this is the old Nest Hello, or now the new Nest wired doorbell. So it's not just that battery camera that this works for. You just need that certain voltage, and that's the perfect voltage power supply for these doorbells. So whether it's Arlo or whatever it is, you can use that same power supply for all those video doorbells. But anyway, it gives you the proper voltage, and then makes this operate just like it normally would. So when I have a customer in here, I can kind of show them how this doorbell works, and you can see that it's ringing just like it normally would, and yeah, fully operational. So just a cool little workaround to not having doorbell wiring or not having to worry about the battery. All right, so moving on to some of these various wall plates now. This particular one, $12.99. And basically it's just a wall plate that can be used for aesthetics, you know, if you just want it to look, give it a different look. But what I think we'll use it for a lot is when people have, you know, various holes or things behind their doorbell. Because again, this is for that battery doorbell here. And, you know, we come into a lot, we install these every day. And we come into a lot of applications where there's stuff behind the doorbell that needs to be hidden. You know, old, I don't know, brick that was ripped off or drywall or whatever it may be. This just kind of gives you a little more surface area to cover that up. Plus, it just kind of looks nice in general. It's got a hole back here for the wiring. You got your 2 screw holes, so basically you just mount that, and then you go ahead and put on your mounting hardware for the doorbell, and then the doorbell itself. So this is a pretty simple concept, not much going on here. I mean, cool, but pretty straightforward. But yeah, kind of looks nice, and you know, depending on the decor of your outside house, but the aesthetics of it, or it can be functional in covering up whatever may be behind your doorbell.
I'm glad you took it out of the box. It looks bigger
It does.
out of the box than what it looks like on that picture.
Yeah, it's pretty sizable. I mean, the doorbell, you know, one of the comments that are made about this doorbell is how big it is, but yeah, so we have had a couple situations where this was a little harder to fit on a house in general, because if you imagine a normal old school doorbell that you're replacing, they can be pretty small, and sometimes they're in a tight piece of trim. So in that case, this would not be your item. But if you got the room to work and your doorbell's in the right spot, then this is pretty cool.
And how much was that again, George?
This one is $12.99. And if you're interested, check in the link in the description below. All right, moving on. We've got the vertical adjustment mount. Again, that's for this doorbell, the battery powered doorbell. And this kind of just gives you some different angle options. Now, we've tried this on a couple different customers. I'm not going to demonstrate it for you, but basically it just, you know, goes behind the actual mounting hardware of the doorbell. You've got a little mounting plate here, and so it kind of replaces the one that you've got there. And then it just gives you some angle there. And so especially if you're trying to get packages, or maybe your existing doorbell was a little higher, I find that sometimes in our real world applications, especially people with intercoms, and we have to have those modified. Again, shout out to Crown Enterprises for modifying those intercoms for us. But anyway, you know, some of those will be up high. So if you're trying to get a package, this could be very useful in getting you a little lower to see packages on the ground. So pretty straight up design. Yeah, so it'll give you a nice little angle there. And again, this is the vertical model, and both the vertical and the horizontal are $14.99. All right, so we got the vertical angle mount, and then we've got the horizontal angle mount. Now this one's going to kind of give you a little angle, like a left and right angle. It's $14.99 also. Check in the link in the description below. But as far as you got the mounting plate, and then you've got the angle itself, and then this goes in there and just kind of gives it that little twist. So this is great. You know, a lot of times when you're walking up to a door, you've got your doorbell straight out. That's great, because then in most homes, it's going to see the yard plus the step in the door area. But a lot of times your doorbell is mounted to the side, and some people just want the camera to get more bang for their buck and show more of their yard or whatever, in addition to just the door. And so you want to turn that camera a little bit. Well, this gives you that flexibility to go left or right, and pretty well made. And you know, in both of these, as far as unboxing goes, you just got the documentation, but then you've got the wall anchors and the screws. That was the same with the vertical mount. I don't think I showed you that, but anyway, same thing in both boxes. And so you just put that behind the doorbell, and it gives you that nice flexibility to go left or right. Great for those side mounted doorbells. So yeah, that's it. So there's plenty of other accessories out there made by Wasserstein, and they're all pretty cool. And again, you've got the officially made for Google, or made for Google Nest on the box. So that gets rid of my little brain bleed, and I can live and be satisfied with my accessories and and live in peace and sleep at night and all that good stuff. So check out the links in the description for all of these. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, the unboxings, and kind of a little chat about each one. All pretty useful, and I hope they keep coming. They do have more, like they have the solar panel, another great option for this bad boy. I don't have one here, but another way to get you constant power. Solar panels are kind of a mixed bag for me just because of the aesthetics. Some people love them, some people don't want that on their house. But anyway, it's great that this company offers one. But they have several other accessories as well. Like I said, they sent me a couple of these, and a couple of them I bought on my own, but that in no way skewed my view on them. I think they're pretty cool. I think they're well made. But yeah, so smash the like button if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel. We very much appreciate your support. I love having you here. And until the next video, peace and love.